I'm like almost afraid to say this. I don't think I want to eat like I used to anymore.
My wildest dreams, I don't think I ever would have expected to hear you say that.
I can't believe some of the things that are coming out of my mouth, man.
I can't either. I got a text this morning that somebody who shall remain nameless pissed you off earlier this week. And as a result of that, the number that you sent me could have been horrifying. But somehow you were able to rebound as the week went on. And you did whatever you did to be able to deliver a 1.4 pound weight loss this week to continue your streak, week 9 of continuous weight loss. Not one week has gone by where you have not lost weight. 0.9 pounds was the least amount of weight you lost. You said your new goal was to get at least a pound a week. You got 1.4 despite getting beat over the head at the beginning of the week. And I want to know, and we can't get into the details as to exactly what happened in regards to the reason why you ended up being derailed from the diet. But after this happened, this event, whatever that event was that caused stress, I think we shall classify it as a stressful scenario for you. What ended up happening? What was the consequence of that? What did you do after that happened? And how long did whatever you were doing last? I can conjure up in my own mind what it is that actually happened as a result of this, considering that this is a weight loss podcast. And if anything was going to derail you, it probably had something to do with candy bars and whoopie pies, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just wondering, give me the details. Give me just a glimpse into the aftermath of a day in the life of Jeff following a stressful event.
But yeah, I was not expecting the number to be so pleasant. So yeah, but I think that maybe I'm mentally changing to the point where, I'm programmed differently than I ever have been, to where I don't know what, I can't even describe that. I can't believe that this is actually the way I'm thinking, because yeah, this is really what's actually happening right now. I don't believe it. But I really felt like I'd be lucky if it was lower, even by like a half a pound, I was going to be okay. And so I knew that I had been pretty strict, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I've been pretty strict. But I had a stressful event, let's see, Saturday, and really Friday evening I had a visitor in town, family member from out of town, my sister. So, it was a joyous occasion at that point. And so there was a slight indulgence there. I think I had stayed pretty true to form, but I think I had a slice of pizza that night. And so my previous life.
You said a slice?
Yeah.
Wow.
My previous life,
I know
could have
previous
a whole
lives,
pizza.
it's how many pizzas did he eat that night?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's where my mental shift is really happening. I felt super conscious about the one slice of pizza, and almost like that would do damage, like what my normal portion would have been in a previous life. But it really didn't. I'm excited to report it didn't. And so, it's just like, I still don't believe it, almost, in a way, like, I guess this is what I've been missing all these years, that you can have reasonable portions maybe of things, and it doesn't have to, you can still enjoy things, and it doesn't have to wreck your plan. that still doesn't seem real. But like the next morning, we ordered donuts for the family, and so a special place, just because my sister coming from out of town wanted to show her a good time and stuff like that. And so, we got the nice place and everything like that. And so, of course, that was an opportunity to indulge. It wasn't like, just standard fare. And so but I also, they limited myself there. I had 2 donuts that morning, and where, and left to my own devices in a previous life,
a dozen.
I mean, if I wanted to, I could probably, I could put a dozen down.
Trust me, yes.
Between 7 a.m. and noon, no problem, right?
No problem.
So, yeah. So like these changes, I guess, are affecting me in a positive way, big time, because I still don't know that I feel comfortable repeating what I just did intentionally. But I'm grateful that I was given the grace that I was, because I am pleasantly surprised that there was over a pound of weight loss, given the fact, that was before that, what I just shared with you was before the stressful event.
We haven't even gotten to the stressful event yet.
Right.
This was the celebration.
Yeah. That was just having fun. And then, then the weekend progresses around noon. What do we do? We went to, I guess I'm going to do some advertising. We went to the Costco and got the jumbo hot dog there. I did refrain from the bun. The bun was not worth the carbs to me, so I went bunless with the hot dog. And let's see what else. I had another slice of pizza that day, the leftover pizza. I helped myself to that, and I think some candy got mixed in there. Probably 2 candy bars that day, if I had to guess right. And then Sunday, I don't have it all logged, but I was just not hyper focused at all on Sunday, for sure. And then Monday, get back into the work routine, and it was a hard day because I was like, mentally, I was like at a point where it was like, okay, what am I doing? Just gonna stay locked in, get back locked in, I guess I should say, and do what I really want to do ultimately, or do I just fall into this trap of where it's easy to go and kind of take a step back. And I don't know how I did it, man. Don't know how I did it, but something got into me, and somehow I managed to be strong and like at least just offset. I didn't expect to have a great week, but I just knew, I heard my own words from talking the last time, that I wanted to not take a step backwards, and so I kept on just trying to be as disciplined as I could the rest of the week. And it was easier for me when I could lock in on things at work, honestly, and try to tune out the other stressors. And yeah, I just thought I try to focus on the things that are positive. I tried not to focus and dwell on the challenges, and I just kept plugging away. And I'm just blessed. I'm blessed to report good news today.
You said you don't know how it happened, and I want to clue you in as to why it happened. I have a little secret that I'm going to tell you in front of everybody watching on YouTube. And that's the reason why you were able to regroup and go back to the diet at the beginning of the week was because you asked yourself a question. you interrupted what normally would happen. This is what most people do when they go back to a routine they've after a stressful event, is they don't even think about what they're about to do. They just do it. They dive in, they go and get whatever it is that they enjoyed eating, and they just start and they don't look back. They just continuously do what they do because it feels good. They never take that moment. It's that moment of contemplation where you ask yourself a question: am I going to do this or not? Am I going to suffer the consequences of what I'm about to do or not? And then the part of your brain, the front part of your brain, the human part of your brain that's able to reason your way through takes over there for that moment. And you can decide what path you're going to follow. Am I going to give in to my basic instincts and try to drown out that stress by eating everything in sight? Or is there a more important goal that I'm trying to achieve that I know is going to be thwarted by doing so? And you made the choice to follow the right path to try and salvage this week. That, in combination with the fact that you had to show up here at the end of the week and report a number, knowing that you just couldn't hide that. You couldn't hide that from us, but you couldn't hide it from yourself, because you had to come on here and you had to speak about what went into that number. So you could have, at that point where you were met with the choice of, am I gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go, am I gonna behave like I have my entire life and just go down that path and try and drown out the stress, or am I gonna go for the higher good and attempt to stay on this diet, try to regroup and make this a good week, which you still had time to do? You decided to take the high road, and knowing that you had to show up and be accountable for it, that was really the motivation then to have to even ask that question. Because had you been just by yourself, had this been a just generic week where you weren't checking in with anybody, where you weren't reporting results,
Yeah.
it would have been very easy to just throw in the towel
That's
and
true.
not even ask that question. That question would not even have come up if there hadn't been somebody that you were going to at the end of the week to talk about this. So that's why it's so important to have that connection. That connection bringing you here every week allows you to think, to ask those questions. And those are the questions that break addictions. Anybody who has any kind of addiction needs to start asking themselves questions before they commit the behavior that they're addicted to. They need to interrupt that pattern. That's exactly what you did. And the motivation for interrupting that pattern was, at the end of the week, I'm going to have to account for what I did. And ultimately, if the week is bad, I'm to blame, because I'm asking myself the question. I have enough time to make it a good week. So I'm asking myself, am I going to do that or not? And if I say or not, I have to face the fact that I made the choice to gain weight instead of lose weight this week. And you did the complete opposite. So I give you all the credit in the world. One, for even asking the question, and two, for answering it correctly. Because knowing a stressful event happens, it's your default mechanism is, let's go. Let's go down that road again. Because it makes it so easy then to forget about that stress, to drown it out. That's the nature of stressful eating, of emotional eating. But you asked the question and you answered it, and then you decided, you made a choice to do something different. And that's the reason why you lost 1.4 pounds. You literally, if you just take those days of when you stayed on the diet, when you asked that question and the days that followed and what you did, you counteracted what happened in those prior days, but also lost an extra pound and a half. So that's tremendous results, given what it is that you experienced.
I don't know. I don't know how that is. Still don't, it doesn't make sense to me. I still can't make sense of this. So it makes me wonder, like, what is possible. I really don't know what's possible if I actually got psycho strict. It makes me wonder. But I don't know. I don't know, but I don't even know how I feel right now. I don't. I'm excited. I'm excited that the number was what it was. I'm very excited. I just don't know what to make of this. I feel like every week I'm learning something, and I guess I've learned something. I'm very happy that it worked out the way it did. This was like the biggest test. This was the biggest test so far because I mean, stress is definitely big factor for me. A big
trigger.
Like, yeah. So
yep.
This was the biggest push that I've had in that regard this whole entire time so far. So, and it got me for a little bit, but thankfully not enough to set me back for a whole week in the wrong direction. So
half the week, the latter half of the week, you started in the middle of the week to ask yourself, am I going to continue doing this or not? What's the rest of this week going to look like? You were literally interrupting the pattern when you did that. And the moment you did that and answered the question and said, okay, we're going to make better choices. Let's try and save this. You did that, and the results speak for themselves. It's, I think, explain the explain the not knowing what to make of this. Is it disbelief? Is it what if I was able to do what I did the first half and do what I did the second half and still lose over a pound? What could I possibly get away with? What's the most that I could possibly get away with while keeping that 1 pound average a week that I'm aiming for?
Well,
what's going through your mind? What kind of emotions do you experience when you look at what the number was, expecting something less, and then actually knowing that you saved it with what you did in the latter part of the week?
Yeah, I mean, the devil side of me says that, but honestly, more of me is saying, I mean, what is it really? What's capable? I don't feel like I was out of this world strict. You know, for I mean, I was focused, but I don't feel like I was out of this world for the 3.5 days or whatever it was that led up to the weigh-in. So I don't know. I mean, I was focused, but like I don't know. I guess I was strict, but I don't know how. I don't know how I was able to do what I did and still lose that much when I feel like I've had less loss with less debauchery. You know what I mean? Like, so it's almost like if I was able to lock in for a full week, like I did for the 3-day period, what would that actually yield? I'm starting to wonder how far would that actually go? And am I mentally prepared to actually try that? I don't know. It's not an answer.
I was going to say, I don't hate that idea at all. So I'm glad you brought it up, because I'm wondering the same thing. If 3 days of relative strictness outweighed everything that happened in those prior days and resulted in a 1.4 pound loss, what would happen if you didn't have to counteract anything and you did it for the entire week? It would be something that, knowing what's coming up, because at the time that we're taping this, we're 6 days away from Thanksgiving. So we're not going to be weighing that week. We'll have an episode, but we're not going to be weighing. The following week, we weigh in, and obviously there's, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're going to be looser on the diet going into Thanksgiving than you have been in any week prior. maybe the beginning of this week might be in the same realm, maybe not. But I think knowing you don't have to weigh in that week that's something that you haven't experienced this entire time, is having a weigh in off.
Yeah.
And knowing that I've got an entire week plus after Thanksgiving to be able to recuperate from what I did. So the question is some of that strictness going to be happening in that latter part of the second week leading into the weigh-in to try and counteract? How do you, the Thanksgiving and the days surrounding Thanksgiving, how do you plan on constructing the next 2 weeks so that way when you step on the scale on Friday 2 weeks from now, and we're looking at 332.8 is what you weighed in this morning. So are we going for, I'm just going for the 1 pound loss? Are we going for the 329s? What are we doing? What's in your head going into that 2 week, basically that 2 week time frame where you know you're going to overindulge on at least one of those days? I would say more than one. But you have another week to recoup. So what do you think you're going to do? What's your goal? What's your short-term goal during that time?
I mean, based on what happened, I don't want to set myself up to be disappointed, but at the same time, based on what just happened right now, I'd really like to see the next weigh-in 2 weeks be under 330.
Okay, I love it. I absolutely love it. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear. Because if you lost the same amount of weight that you lost this week over the next 2 weeks, that'd be 2.8 pounds. You would be at 330 on the dot. So if you could duplicate this 2 weeks in a row plus a little bit more, you'd be in the 320s, and then it would be on. That's game on for you, because I know that's territory you haven't charted in so long, in so many years, that it's going to bring a newfound motivation going into the rest of the year, into Christmas, for you to really push forward and then enjoy the Christmas holidays, and then kick some booty in January to get to that spring under 300. So everything is moving along extremely well. Do you plan on, obviously Thanksgiving is the day that's going to be a day of indulgence and time surrounding that. Do you plan on going into this week because now we talk and then you have some fun for a couple days, and then on Monday you start kicking it in higher gear in preparation for the weigh-in. But you have 2 weeks, and are you going to treat this entire week as an easy week? Are you going to make the first half of the week a little bit more disciplined going into Thanksgiving, so that way you have less to make up for the following week? How is it? What's your frame of mind going into it?
Yeah, the work schedule's a little wonky, so I will. It's going to be a little bit challenging, but I'd like to try to stay fairly focused. Try my best to avoid as many stressful situations as I can.
I highly recommend that.
And yeah, just I want to kind of just stay on track, but also live life so that I'm keeping a healthy perspective on it. Not plan on deviating too much. Also, just give myself a little bit of flexibility and let things happen naturally. Kind of envisioning what a Thanksgiving meal looks like, and there's things that I feel like I'm going to be able to just turn down. That I don't really need to put on my plate this year. There are carbohydrates. I can do without the mac and cheese this year. I can. So it's just like I'll still be able to, even during that meal, I can make wiser choices. It doesn't mean I'm going to completely deprive myself, but like I've reached somehow. I'm like almost afraid to say this. You know how I feel about, I don't want to say that I'm fearful. It's a strong word I don't like to use. I'm nervous to say that that I don't think I don't think I want to I don't think I want to really rock the boat here. I don't think I want to eat like I used to anymore.
Wow.
yeah, I think I just don't want to do that
That's
again.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. God, I don't know if I don't think my wildest dreams, I don't think I ever would have expected to hear you say that.
I mean, it's wild to say this, but like I really like I don't know. I don't. I mean, there's my mind has not fully wrapped itself around that
Yeah.
because, like if you give me a weekend alone, I'm still capable of terrorizing my body. You know what I mean? Like that's probably like my default setting still. But like in general, like if you give me like a month to myself, I'm not going to do that on the regular. I really think if you left me alone for a month, that would get old real quick, and I'd start to be more disciplined on my own. And I don't know. I don't need to find out right now. I don't think we need to do any crazy experiment. I don't want to play with that, but I feel like there's been a pretty drastic mindset shift even already at this point. I don't know what the heck you've done, dude. I don't know what you've done, but you are like the ultimate life coach. And yeah, you did something with the wiring. You've done something ridiculous. That's like
hypnosis.
I don't know what it is.
I've been hypnotizing you every week, and you just didn't know it.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's good. It's good. I've never dreamed this possible.
Well, having to meet here every week has forced you to focus on a goal and consistently focus on a goal for over 2 months. So, since every week it's almost like, you're a big sports fan and you know about scoring touchdowns and you know about scoring field goals, and every single week it's like it's a new game for you. It's like what's it going to be? What's the number going to be? What plays am I going to run to get that number? Did those plays work? Did those plays not work? What new plays can I run this week because of my schedule, because of the holidays? It literally has turned into a sporting event for you. I think it's capitalized on everything that you enjoy about life, rolling that in, and the competitive spirit that you have, I think, has been brought out in you. And you literally every week are competing against yourself. And that's a very healthy competition to have. And what you've done is you've associated the behavior with a consequence. So when you had that pizza available and you could have eaten 6 slices and you only ate one, uh, ultimately you were thinking, the thought went through your mind because you've been doing this now for enough weeks. Like, if I eat more of this, I mean, it's not going to take that long to eat, but I'm going to have to pay on the other end. Like, there's a consequence to what I'm about to do. Whereas before you were meeting with me and before you had any accountability, what consequence? You didn't think about any consequence. It's just, let's have fun. Let's just eat. Let's eat until I can eat no more. It's there's just no reason not to, because what is the consequence? I'm not weighing myself. I don't care how much I weigh. I don't know how much I weigh. It really doesn't matter. I don't report to anyone. Nobody's taken a vested interest in my health and well-being. Doesn't matter. Big deal. I can just do it and not think about it. There are no consequences. Now there are, because every single week you have to pay the piper. You got to step on that scale and you know what happened. You're going to know what happened. You're going to know it was a consequence of whatever you did during that prior 7 days. So you become intentional automatically because you have a goal. And your goal is, the competition you're running with yourself is, I'm going to do better. This week I'm going to lose. This week I'm going to lose. I'm getting closer to the 320s. The 320s are they're becoming in sight. So I need to really focus on that. Once I get to the 320s, I'm going to feel a certain way. It's going to get me really excited. I'm going to feel accomplished. I'm going to get excited. And because I'm by your side, I'm every single week I see you lose weight. Makes me happy. You know it makes me happy. It's the camaraderie, it's the excitement, it's the joy that we experience together over you accomplishing this. And it is that spirit of competition and the camaraderie that, I mean, it's almost like it's like you've created your own football league here. That's what it feels like. It really has become a game, and a fun game, and a game that has subtly over the past 9 weeks has subconsciously started to reprogram you, the way that you think, the way that you think about food, the way you think about moderation, without ever using the word moderation, without me ever saying to you, yeah, you just gotta cut down on the amount that you eat of the normal foods you eat, without ever putting any limits, without me trying to put limits on you. You ended up wanting to put limits on yourself when you saw what the connection was between how much you ate and what you weighed. And you said, well, I can actually have a slice of pizza and get away with it, but I can't have a whole pizza without really ruining things potentially, or at least bringing down the results enough that I'm not going to be a happy man at the end of the week when I weigh in. So you're actually linking the two in your head, and you're saying you're doing a cost benefit analysis is what it is. I mean, your mind always does this with everything. It's like, what's the cost of doing this and versus the benefit? So before you did all of this with me and come here and we meet and we talk and you weigh yourself weekly, there was no cost. Only benefit. The benefit is I'm having fun. The benefit is I'm drowning myself out from stress. I know I don't no longer have to worry about that. Whatever it's going on in my life, I can just focus on this and have a good time. And that was very easy. There was no cost to that because you didn't know what you weighed, didn't care what you weighed, didn't think about any of that. Now that that's in the forefront, it's the cost benefit analysis is much different. It's like the benefit is, yeah, I get to have fun for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but ultimately what's the cost? The cost is, man, like at the end of the week, I may not hit that number. I may gain weight, and I don't want that. I don't want that anymore. I don't want it. Like you're saying, I don't want it. It's coming from you. You're the one that's saying that I don't want this as part of my life. I want to go in a different direction. I want to see that scale go down, not up. I don't even want to see it stay the same. So what's the cost benefit on that? I know that yes, I can have a good time. Yes, I can eat certain foods that most people aren't eating on a diet, but I just have to eat a certain quantity of it, less than I used to eat. I have to make sure that I'm not overindulging. And if I do that throughout the week, I'm going to be fine. And that's really becoming ingrained in you, and it's becoming and it's ultimately it's not giving up the foods you enjoy. It's not throwing them to the side. It's integrating them in the proper way so that you keep going in the right direction. And that really, I think, is motivating you to moderate yourself without you having to make any effort to do so. It's literally you stare at the pizza and you wonder, is it worth going any further than this? And you say, no, it's not.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm just shocked. Like I'm really learning about moderation, like you said, without using the word before right now. And it's not a sexy word. It's really an ugly word. I don't like
that's
the
why
word.
I've never used it until now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. It's not a pretty word. But like, yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things you have to do it. You have to learn it on your own, I guess. I mean, this is making total sense. If you put too many restrictions on me, I don't know how everybody else is, but if you do it to me, does not motivate me. It does not.
Not at all.
It does not. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. But you've given me flexibility. You give me freedom and confidence that this can happen, and that I can do this, and that I can breathe a little bit and enjoy myself a little bit. But just have some discipline along the way. And I'm grateful, man. I'm so grateful because I mean, even during the most challenging week I've had, I'm staring at over a pound of weight loss. I'm pleasantly surprised, if not shocked. I was so happy to send that number to you, and I'm still in awe. I'm still in awe of it, to be honest with you, man. I really don't even. I'm I'm stunned. I'm excited, and like it doesn't mean I'm going to go crazy and be done right now. I'm grateful. I'm humbled by it, and like I just want to be smart about the next 2 weeks. I don't want to mess anything up. I just want to be smart about it and see what happens.
I love hearing that. That's actually, once you're intentional at the very beginning of this next 2 week period, just by saying that, just by saying I want to be smart, I want to moderate myself, I want to make the right choices, I want to make sure that it's a good weigh in 2 weeks from now. You're already setting the stage for sitting at the Thanksgiving table and doing the things that you said you're going to do. I may skip the mac and cheese. I may make sure to temper the carbs, which is, it's incredible to even think going in, because normally what would happen, think of what the normal scenario would be for, I would say, for anybody that's on a weight loss plan that struggles with emotional eating. And I would lump you into this category. My expectation would be, I'm going into Thanksgiving knowing I don't have to weigh myself for 8 days, and I'm gonna have a blast, dude. I'm just gonna literally raid the entire table several times if I can. I'm gonna get my hands on everything there 2 or 3 times, because I got 8 days to worry about it. Who cares? Like, I could do whatever I want that day. But going into it, we're talking about this frame of mind that you were speaking of earlier. Going into it, you're telling yourself, no, I don't think I want to do that. I really don't think, despite all that, the food being available, I think I want to actually decide what I'm going to eat based on the combination of, I'm living life, I'm still having a good time, but I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to go to the point where I do irreparable damage to myself and to the number. I know full well that Thanksgiving meal is going to last a limited amount of time, but I've got to worry about the rest of the week going into the weigh-in. I want that to be good. I don't want to have to obsess over doing things extreme in the opposite direction to make up for something I did extreme in the wrong direction. I want to actually make better choices where I still can have a good time. I still can enjoy myself, while at the same time not circumventing the progress that I want to achieve. And one technique that you can use is slow down your eating tempo. A lot of times people get together and they'll be with a group of people. If they're a fast eater, if they happen to eat quickly, people are still eating at the table. So there's a temptation to just keep eating because everyone else is eating. I'm going to keep eating. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to just stop while everyone is still indulging. But if you slow things down to the point where you're finishing your meal at the time the other people are finishing their meal, but you've eaten a lot less, the temptation to keep going is not going to be as strong, just because everyone else is done, so you feel as if now you can move away from that more easily than if I'm just eating at a quick pace and everyone's still eating. There's justification to keep going. It just makes it psychologically harder to break free. But if you slow the pace, it does two things. It does this, what I just described, by finishing when everyone else without having eaten as much. But it also allows you to savor the food more, like savor, as opposed to, because really you're looking for, ultimately you're looking for the flavor associated with the food. So if you chew slower and eat slower, and it takes a while to build that habit, you can really savor more of each bite of food, get more out of each bite, extract more flavor, extract more dopamine, extract more fun out of each bite. So that way, ultimately, you have just as much fun while eating half the amount of food.
Yep.
So it's the other thing I wanted to mention, when we were visiting, and this was a few months ago. We were in the car together and we drove by Dairy Queen, and you said, I have no desire to go into that Dairy Queen because we're having so much fun together. You said, and we associated the fact that, we're just bonded. We're having a great time. So the desire to eat is just wasn't there. Just to go in randomly, spotting a fast food establishment, I don't feel the need to have to go in. I'm having a great time. I can pass by and not have that temptation. The hunger's not there. The desire's not there. And then on the way home, I picked up my family, and being a loud, brash Italian mom, let me just we could go back and forth. And we decided to go back and forth, not in a hostile way, but it could be perceived hostile by an innocent bystander who doesn't know how traditionally Italian people can communicate with the raised pitch in the voice. And you happened to be locked in that van next to my mom while this was happening. So you got to witness this all. Now, as we I did not have any idea what was happening at the time, other than the fact when we got home, it was revealed to me as you were exiting the van. You said, get me back to that Dairy Queen as soon as possible. Like, please, let's go now. And at that moment in time, we revealed something that was so eye-opening. And as you were trapped in that van with nowhere to go, and the voices were being raised, you started to experience a tremendous amount of stress, because to you, it came across as highly confrontational, and it triggered something in you. You don't like to be in that kind of environment. So when you got out and you expressed the desire to go back to the Dairy Queen, the place that we had just passed 20 minutes earlier, and you had no desire whatsoever to entertain going inside, ordering, nothing. We get home, the stress is at the max. As you're exiting the van, you say, let's go back, because the stress triggered the feeling of hunger. Now, why would that happen? Why would you get hungry if you were stressed? It doesn't make sense. Like, you get hungry when you're malnourished. You get hungry when you don't have enough food in your system. Well, you weren't hungry 20 minutes earlier, and you pointed it out on the way there, because, and we associated with you're having a great time. You don't feel the need to have to drown out from anything. You don't have to escape anything, because you don't want to escape anything. We're having a wonderful experience together. But then on the way back, that wonderful moment turned into terror when you were trapped in that van with the voices going back and forth. So when you got out, suddenly it was like, I got to go back there because the hunger is here. Suddenly you're just ravished. Like, I got to eat. I got to get something, like, make me feel good.
It was uncanny.
Counteract
it really was.
Stress.
Yeah.
Counteract the stress with something that can make me feel great, because this doesn't feel great, and I got to escape it as soon as I possibly can. Were there remnants of this when you had your stressful experience? Were you able to link? I don't know if you were thinking of it at the time, but were you able to link the stressful moment that you experienced this past week with a ramping up in your desire to eat, hunger, a desire to go and find something to be able to counteract that?
Yeah, I would say, I wasn't specifically taken back to the van and the Dairy Queen per se.
We were trapped in that situation.
But like, the same feeling probably existed from Saturday until Monday, when I had to make that decision. Monday morning when I'm like in my office, I'm like, am I going to play by the rules, or am I going to be stupid? And because it's either going to be real ugly, or it could just be moderately ugly. And so and my past, this, like, in the past, I've been where if it's not going to be pretty, I might as well just make it ugly, and might as well get my money's worth to make it real ugly.
Oh yeah.
So that's usually not as easy as a decision should be. But usually I make the wrong decision when confronted with that question of, I'll just throw this week all the way away and screw it all up. And so it was a lot harder than it should have been, or than I'd like to admit. But grateful. Looking back, I'm very grateful that I made the right decision. I'm certain, like you have pointed out here, like, if I didn't have you to be accountable to, and this whole audience to come back to, like, if I didn't know that Friday's weigh-in day, and I'm going to share a number with you, and have to answer questions, and that somebody cares. You're the one who shows the most interest in this aspect of my health. So, I mean, you're my brother, so like, I know you love me. I know you want me to live a long, healthy life. Been on me about it for 30 years or more. And so like, it's just, I know this is actually important. You show me the significance and the importance of this that I can't even see sometimes for myself. And so it means something when I'm talking to you about it. And that's important, man. I don't just, I should see this for myself, but I don't just see it for myself. And when I'm talking to you about it, it's registering. And so like all this combined, it's just happening. And yeah, man, this is another confidence boost, I guess. I mean, it's just like, if this week happened, I'm really pleased. I don't want to get overconfident, but I'm very pleased.
Yes,
Very
please
pleased.
don't get
Yeah.
overconfident. Please, I'm begging you.
No. But I mean, like, I want to be smart during this 2-week period right now. I don't want to have any setbacks. I want to see that number under 330 soon, for the first time in a long, long time. Probably 10 years.
Yeah, I just want people to realize that, based on the story I just told, because people normally associate hunger with, I just haven't eaten enough. I just have a big appetite. Just my appetite just means my stomach isn't full enough. Got to do something to prevent that from happening. Hunger can be signaled by the brain because all it is a signal to eat. So if your brain has associated food with comfort and you're in an uncomfortable situation, you can get spontaneously hungry. That hunger is just simply a signal by the brain, go eat, because you're not feeling good and this is going to make you feel good. So we want to counteract that pain with pleasure. And the hunger is a signal like, this is what's going to do it. And that's something that most people don't realize. To know that, to understand that, wow, this hunger is being triggered by something. Like, things that can actually happen in my life can make me hungry because of the connection between food and pleasure that my brain has made. It's an eye-opening experience, and people need to take that to heart, because once they understand it, hunger's not so mystical to them anymore. They see, like, they get hungry and it comes out of nowhere. I've been triggered. Like, something has happened just now in my life that where my brain is trying to tell me, go eat, because this is too difficult for you to handle. And that's a critical moment to start analyzing, what are my triggers, what's leading me to behave this way, and what can I do to counteract that. And in this particular case, like, we're counteracting it by meeting every week, by having a goal, by talking about it. And talking about it's very therapeutic, but also just having that accountability and the goal that you have to achieve on a weekly basis keeps you focused. It allows you to, if you have a bad day or two, it allows you to recollect yourself and know that you can make up for that. You got time to counteract, as long as you catch yourself just the way you did and you ask yourself the right questions, and then give yourself the correct answer. And it's just so empowering to realize that one bad meal is not going to ruin your entire weight loss effort. And a lot of people go into this, unfortunately, thinking that perfection is the only way to success, that I have to eat this very strict diet that I don't particularly enjoy. And then if I make one mistake on this diet, it's over. It's over. I'm going to be as fat as I was before. I might as well just go ahead and eat everything in sight because I've ruined everything. That's the wrong attitude to take. It's destructive. It will keep you overweight forever. It will cause you to keep gaining weight and become fatter than you ever were before, because the rebound is so much stronger than any weight that you've lost if you just throw in the towel. But because we're doing this on a weekly basis, you're learning, like, no, I can not only have a bad meal, I could have a bad couple days and rebound and still lose weight, which that's what's shocking to you. It's like, I had 3 days where I felt things were not good, but I came back and I decided I'm going to do things the right way for the rest of the week, and you ended up progressing in the right direction. So it's very, very empowering and exciting to see that actually happen in real time. And it does give you a sense, just like you were saying, what happens if I got more strict? What's that going to lead to? It's almost as if there's an excitement kicking in, and it's not in the. Normally, you would expect it in the opposite direction. What can I get away with? Like how much damage can I do at the beginning of the week and recover from at the end of the week, and still end up losing at least a pound? Like I'm going to go in that direction. And you're talking about instead your brain is going in the direction of what could I achieve if I became even more strict? Like if this would have been a more strict a week, what would it have been like given what I was able to achieve with what I did in the second half of the week? So it's that thought process is naturally happening the more invested in this process that you become. And I think that's the biggest benefit of talking about this every week, and of weighing in every week, and of having someone to share this with every single week. I think that's where success blossoms, is when you can put that into focus on a regular basis. That's the reason why and people who go to therapy or counseling every week, they do that for a reason, because it keeps everything in focus on a weekly basis. And to just meet with someone or have someone who cares about you that you can talk about this with, that accountability is what propels people to want to do better. And when you want to do better, you will do better. And that's what we're seeing here. So I'm just so happy with not only your progress, but your mindset shift, which is just as shocking to me as it is to you. Trust me.
I can't believe some of the things that are coming out of my mouth, man.
I can't either.
The reflection that you give and help me go through on a weekly basis, so valuable. And yeah, I mean, the mindset is just going off in crazy places, dude. I don't know what is possible. I don't know. This stuff, 9 weeks?
Yeah, 9 weeks.
Unreal.
You've lost a total of 21.8 pounds. Your average, other than the first week's 1.9 pounds, you're almost at 2, and you're 332.8. You're closing in on 320s from 354.6. That's tremendous, is what it is. That's absolutely phenomenal. You pick up a 20-pound weight and tell me, just tell me how much, because people just don't think, when you're thinking somebody's 300 pounds, 20 pounds is a lot of weight. That's a lot of fat, and that's fat that's been lost. So it's a tremendous achievement, and you can feel it, you can see it, and it's going to continue. The best part is we've just begun, and it's the whole mindset, lifestyle shift that's happening naturally without force. There's nothing that's making you do this. Nothing at all. This is all happening internally. And it's because you have made the decision to show up here every week, to report your weight, and to challenge yourself to get to this goal. And it's become a competition, a very healthy competition that you're playing on a weekly basis. And you're winning, my friend. You are winning every single week. And I absolutely love it.
No, I need you, man. I need you all the way, and I appreciate you so much.
You got me, man. I love you so much. We'll see each other next week, and just congratulations. I'm thrilled. I honestly am. I cannot overstate how excited I am with everything that's been happening, and with the conversation we just had today, and everything that you revealed, and these words, these phrases that are coming out of your mouth that I didn't even think you could pronounce. It's just astonishing to me. And it just really does show that new habits can be formed with somebody, as long as they take that first step and they have somebody to share it with. So I think that people need to take that away and apply it into their own lives.
Much love, brother. Thank you,
brother. See you next week.
Take care. That one phrase, I don't think I want to eat like I used to anymore. My brain wanted to stop me from saying it. I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to. Almost couldn't say it, and then it just came out.
How'd that come out of my mouth?
The fact that you didn't stop yourself from saying it is astonishing to me.
Well, I tried.
No, you did, but you couldn't stop.